Hello, my name is Megan, if you don't know who I am or I haven't met you yet. And this is going to be a clearing the channel practice, a little bit more activating and energizing, which is really just a nice way to say level 2 or 3. So some expectation with yoga asana is expected. And that also really applies to the kind of energetic work that we apply to the practice as well, including how we breathe, how we focus, and how we meditate, particularly at the end. So we're going to go ahead and get started so that way we have, plenty of time for meditation at the end of the practice. So go ahead and come into a seat facing the front of your space. We won't be here for very long, which is why I'm sitting on my heels, but any seat is fine. And this is just for you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Hands in any position that you like them to be, to hone your focus in to your practice. One big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then begin to apply Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath, oceanic breath. And that's very much an internal sound than an external sound. And what helps me achieve this, activation is thinking that my nostrils are at the base of my throat between the collarbones. And so I'm breathing directly in and out of the base of the throat. And this helps me and us get away from that kind of like sniffing and pushing out the air. And rather than a constriction, it is very much an expansion. Like the whole throat opens in circumference just a little bit more. And maybe this gives your heart an opportunity to move up and out into the world. And we're looking to maintain this breath throughout the entirety of the movement practice. The likely reality is that you'll forget about it and pop back in and out. And that pulsation is really the beginning of meditation. Because when we meditate, the same thing happens. We forget, and then we have to come back. And over time, with consistent practice, that is the ultimate key. There are longer and longer expanses of time between when you forget and have to come back. In this seat, inhale, reach the arms out to the side, up overhead. Feel that space come into the torso, the spine, the heart. Exhale, hands forward and down to make your way into tabletop. Hands and knees. And once you feel steady, some cow and cat, along with any other movement through the spine that feels good, that feels right. Three more rounds of breath. Feel the sides of the neck lengthen as you open both the front and the back of the heart. And return to neutral tabletop, that feeling of flat or flat-ish back. Engage your core. Just think of pulling your belly button away from the mat. And inhale, spinal strengthening. Extend left arm long in front, right leg long behind. 3 breaths. nice and long. And exhale, return to tabletop immediately to the other side. Inhale, extend right arm, left leg. Exhale, resist the fall of your belly button to the floor. Reaching through fingertips and heel. One more breath. And as you exhale, tabletop. Extend your left leg out to the left. Left toes point forward or slightly out to the left, whatever feels good in the knee. And then just a little bit of cow and cat. Maybe a little bit more gentle, focusing on that movement in the pelvis to start to open up the inner thigh. And on your next breath out, lean the hips back towards your right heel. Left toes will likely lift off the floor. That's okay. Long spine, 3 breaths. I'm going to start slow, and then we'll pick it up here in a bit. Inhale, lift back up to tabletop. Exhale, knee in. Right leg out to the right, right foot out to the right rather. Toes point where they need to point and find that motion, particularly in the pelvis and the low back. And on your next breath out, lean the hips back. Let the right toes lift if they need. And again, lengthen that spine just like you want to grow out of the hips. 3 breaths. And inhale, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, knee back in. Walk the hands forward and maybe out a little bit, prepping for downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Add any movement that you need. We'll be here for 5 breaths or about 5 breaths. Again, stay attuned to that oceanic quality, that internal focus with your breathing in and out. In downward facing dog, I would argue, though it's all very subjective, is about a long spine, more than long back of legs. The backs of the legs we're going to work on, so let them really be how they are right now. And just think about your spine like a slide. Crown of the head softens towards the floor for a moment so you can lengthen out the back of the neck. And then one more breath in. Exhale, walk the feet forward, heels down first if you can, to forward fold. Let this be more of a ragdoll, same thing, spinal release, spinal length, 3 breaths. Inhale, lift halfway, hands push onto the thighs or the shins so you can reach long, make space in the low back. Stay here as you exhale. Think of hugging your inner thighs towards each other, engage the glutes, engage the core, and with a flat back. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, arms by the sides. Inhale, arms up high, palms pressed, steeple grip. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. 2 more rounds of breath. Soften the neck. And inhale through center. Exhale, opposite side. Feet stay more or less equally rooted. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, upper back bend. Reach long through not only the fingers, but the arms, the sides of the body. Like you're arching up and over a giant fence or a giant ball, anything giant. All right, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step or hop back to plank pose. On or off the knees, connecting flow, breathe in. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, right foot forward, left knee down, top of the left foot down. A few breaths in this very low lunge, just to settle into that left hip. And left hand stays on the floor. Inhale, rotate to the right. Exhale, right hand on the thigh to help you with a hand down twist. Two more breaths and you can keep the hand where it is or reach it up to the ceiling. Whatever feels good in the shoulder. And on your next exhale, hand down. Lift the left knee up. Long, active low lunge. And then step back to plank, connecting flow to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, left foot forward, right knee down, top of foot down. Allow yourself to sink. You don't have to crank it. There's a little bit of softness that you can allow, that you can set into your body because you're so supported by the hands on the floor. Right hand stays down. Inhale, rotate to the left. Exhale, hand on the thigh. Look over the shoulder. Last two breaths, option for that arm up. And the next time you exhale, hand down. Active low lunge, so right toes curled under, right knee lifts. And then step back to plank, connecting vinyasa. Remember, these are absolutely optional. And you can adjust them to be whatever you need. Sometimes cow and cat feels good. There's really no right or wrong. Nice long spine, strong core. Inhale, right leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, right foot to the front of the mat. Left toes will stay curled under, left knee lifted, hug to midline. Inhale, crescent lunge, 5 breaths. Nice open heart. Circle the left wrist with the right thumb and index finger. Breathe in and exhale, side body stretch, just 3 breaths. Lots of strength through the legs. Inhale. Exhale, prayer twist. Elbow on top of or outside of the right thigh. 3 breaths. Inhale, return to crescent. Exhale, warrior 2. Maybe straighten that front leg if you need a momentary break. 3 more breaths here. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach forward to come down, triangle pose. Long spine, open heart. Expansive breath. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, connecting flow. Inhale, left leg high. Think of lifting from your inner thigh. Exhale, left foot forward. Feel steady. Inhale, crescent. 5 breaths. Still just in the warm-up. Circle the right wrist, breathe in. Pardon me, exhale, side body stretch to the left. 3 breaths. Stay like this, inhale. Exhale into your twist. 3 breaths. Strong legs. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, warrior 2. Maybe that little straight edge or straight leg action for a moment. 3 more rounds of breath here. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, extend long towards the front of your space and find triangle pose. Check in with your breathing. Where is your mind? One more inhale. Exhale, hands down, connecting flow. From downward facing dog, take your time to walk to forward fold, heels down as much as possible. This time, aim to push your feet into the floor and keep your legs as straight as they're willing to be. Working at the boundary changes the boundary. There's nothing more that needs to be done. Inhale, lift halfway. Stay here, and then exhale, rise to standing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, circle the hands to the tailbone, interlace fingers, and reach the knuckles for the floor. To open up the front of the heart, broaden the collarbones. Maybe chin and gaze come up. Inhale, keep the bind. Exhale, fold forward. Knuckles reach towards the ceiling, maybe up overhead. And even as the arms descend towards the floor overhead, think about sides of the neck staying long. And legs again are at the boundary. One more breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows, hands to tailbone, and then to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step the right foot back. Heel toe the left foot out to the left and lower down to the right knee, lizard pose. Breathe in. Exhale, bend the right knee, right toes point up. So you can stay up on the hands or come down to the forearms to add your twist. Breathe in, reach back behind you with the left hand. And whether or not you touch the foot, you're in rotation. So maybe you're holding the foot, maybe you're not. 5 breaths, open heart. Steady the mind. And you do that through focusing on your breath and finding a shape that you can maintain. Not trying to do too much at once. And on your next exhale, release. Keep the left foot where it is, hands to the floor. Lift off that right knee, active lizard for a breath or two. And then step right foot to mirror the left at the top of the mat. Step left foot back, left knee down. Nice long spine, bend the left knee. And then either on hands or forearms, come into your rotation. Might look very different on this side, might not. Focus. 5 breaths. And then take your time to come into active lizard on this side. And step left foot to mirror the right, very wide malasana. Keeping the hands down, shift left and right. And then with malasana feet, yogi squat feet, lift the hips up. A little yogi squat forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine just enough to heel toe the feet all the way into touching. And then lift the heels, bring the knees out to the sides, lower the hips down. A little toe balance. You can keep fingers on the floor or bring hands together at the heart or do a little bit of both. 3 breaths. 3 more breaths, I should say. You can stay here or bring hands down. Hips high to hug your knees into the upper arms for crow pose. 5 breaths. And then make your way back to plank for a connecting flow. I do not feel very dynamic today, so I will step back. But feel free to hop back. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, side body stretch. Inhale here. Exhale, prayer twist. Woo. Inhale through crescent. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, triangle. Few breaths here. Working that inner thigh, inner line of the leg. Stay here or hop into balancing half moon. I'm pretty close to my shelf, but not touching. Two more rounds of breath. Think of extending out from the center in all directions. Breathe in. Exhale, return to warrior two from wherever you're at. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Any variation that you'd like. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to plank pose. Lower the heels to the right. Come into staggered foot side plank. Can stay here or stack the feet. Think of hips lifting up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale. Pardon me, plank pose. Lower heels to the left. Start with staggered foot plank on the left side. And maybe you stack the feet. Woo. Hips high. Steady breath. Breathe in. Exhale, plank. Connecting flow. Inhale, left leg to the ceiling. Exhale, carry it through. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, side body stretch. Breathe in here. Exhale, prayer twist. Inhale, crescent once more. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, triangle pose for a couple of breaths. And you can stay here or come into balancing half moon. Try to be as long as you can through the left side body. Both feet are active, not just the grounded one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward. And exhale, extended side angle. Nice and long through that right side of the body. Heart rotates towards the ceiling, even though there might not really be movement. That happens when you aim for that. Soften the neck, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. From here, lower the heels to the right. Make your way into side plank. Woo. Your choice of stacked or staggered feet can also play with Vasisthasana B, side plank B. And the trick is to get the sole of the right foot down on the floor. Lean back like you're in a little bit of a back bend. For 3, 2, 1. Woo! Release and return to plank. To lower heels down to the left. Find your side plank variation. For 5 breaths. And release. Return to plank. Connecting flow. Five breaths in downward facing dog. Maybe a few open mouth exhales are in order. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees enough to plant your right hand under your nose. Inhale, left arm out to the left, up overhead. Left leg straightens as much as possible. Stay grounded through both feet and think of pinning that left hip back behind you. One more inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee. Left hand down to replace the right. And inhale, right arm out and up. Right leg straightens. Right hip pins back. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Strong core, strong glutes. Exhale up to standing. 2 or 3 breaths here. Excuse me. Ground down through your left foot. Inhale, right knee up in line with the hip. And exhale, your version of tree pose. 5 breaths. And after that 5th breath, return to knee back in line with the hip. Left hand on the outer thigh. And inhale, right arm back behind you, adding a little twist to your standing balance. You can stay here, or you can slide the hand down the calf to hold on to the outer right foot and try to kick that right leg forward. Again, leg is just as straight as it can be. And slowly return to standing. Take a few breaths. Rehone your focus. The effort is what gets you wherever you're trying to go. So if it didn't look how you wanted it to look, it's okay to feel whatever way you feel about it, but then drop that. Feel the feeling Leave the story behind. Let's come into the other side. Strong right leg. Inhale, left knee up in line with the hip. Exhale, tree pose. 5 breaths. After that 5th breath, return to standing balance. Knee in line with the hip. Right hand on the outer thigh. Inhale, left arm back behind you. You can stay here or slide the hand down to hold onto the outer foot and kick it forward. This side's much tighter for me. Breathe in and exhale. Take your time to release, to return to standing. Shake it out. Do some horse slips. And then be still. Inhale, arms up. Find as much of a back bend as feels good for your body. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, connecting flow. Breathe in. Exhale, knees down. 1 round of camel pose. So you can have the tops of the feet down, toes curled under. If you're like, no, think of a different back bend that suits you. Cobra, upward facing dog, happy puppy, cow cat, upward facing bow pose. Whatever feels right. All right, I'm going to talk us through camel. A little bit of core engagement. Think of your tailbone melting to the floor, just a little bit. Your core is going to do what it needs to do, but just a little bit of support there. And then heart opens, hands back behind you to hold on to the heels. If it's comfortable, drop the head back. 5 breaths. Hands to the hips. To come up. Take your time to sit the hips on the heels or on the floor if that doesn't feel good, and then be still just for a few breaths. And from here, if there's any last little pieces of movement you need, you can take those, of course, with or without my permission. And then we're going to set up in our seat. So I've got my stuff here for seated meditation. If sitting on the floor isn't working for you today or generally, back yourself up to a wall, sit on a chair. Legs don't have to be crossed as you make your way into your seat. Those of you who have taken classes with me or who watch these videos, you've heard these things a number of times before. Like we want the spine upright because that helps us maintain a certain level of focus and awareness. But you know, while some schools of thought would argue differently, I think we really just have to find the thing that makes it sustainable. You know, practices are easy to start. They're much easier to quit than they are to start. But the most challenging aspect of any practice is the maintenance, the consistency, the willingness to return to it again and again and again, even on the days where it's just so much easier not to. And those days are real, but after them, we still come back to the practice. Because what a gift that we can practice. Okay, so find your seat, whatever it is, it's perfect, or it's at least good enough. And then hands, I recommend on the thighs, palms face up or down, but you can have them wherever you need them to be. Guide your head back in space and lean back just very slightly so you feel the weight come towards the back of your sit bones. And it's kind of like you're leaning against a wall. Return to that ujjayi breath, that sensation of breathing in and out of the base of the throat, inviting that sense of expansion rather than constriction. Give your body, your mind a little bit of time to adjust. It's probably not going to be a perfect, smooth transition. Feel the eyes settle and soften. Invite your tongue to release away from the roof of the mouth or the back of your teeth. And don't even try for the internal sound. It will arise naturally. And if you're feeling this, stay here. Otherwise, we're going to apply this oceanic breath to Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So with the right hand, index finger, middle finger, press into the thumb pad. Palm turns to face you. So the right thumb rests on the right nostril. The right ring finger rests on the left nostril. And they're both just going to hang out on the skin of the nostrils. Because you don't have to press in very far or very hard to close off either side. So with both nostrils open, exhale. Close the right nostril, inhale left. Pause at the top, close left, open right, exhale right. Inhale right. Pause, close right, open left, exhale left. Inhale left. Pause to close the left, open right, exhale right. Inhale right. Pause, close right, open left, exhale left. Keep going. You switch sides between the inhale and the exhale, which means you exhale and then inhale on the same side. Still applying that Ujjayi pranayama. There will be moments of silence, but trust that I am still here with you. I will close us out. So you don't have to worry if your video froze, just stay in your practice. Try to keep the eyes still so they don't shift left to right with your breath. But it's totally okay if they are. If this feels good, you can stay with this breath. Or the next time you breathe out the left nostril, can release your right hand down and continue Nadi Shodhana using only visualization. So realistically, you're imagining your breath pulsing in and out of your nostrils one at a time intentionally. And in non-digital, as in non-using the hands, Nadi Shodhana, it can be a little trickier to keep the eyes still in their sockets. Still breathing in and out of the base of the throat, that expansive oceanic breath. If you find your chin jutting forward or up, just guide it back down and in slightly. And if you feel compelled to stay here longer, please do. If you are ready to move on with your day or your night, just let all breathing intentions go. Can lick your lips or swallow or gently open and close the eyes, just as slow ways to pulse into present space-time. And got the baby monitor, so if you see that, it's okay. Know that these are practices you can return to anytime. Focusing on one thing at a time is meditation. It becomes the pathway to not having to focus on anything to keep the mind still. But we practice little by little, again and again. Be so mindful as you move on. Drink lots of water. And please let me know if you have any thoughts or questions. Thank you so much for allowing me to hold this space for you. To anyone that happens to make it this far in the video, I just really appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you next time. All right, bye.